here we are, and welcome to Get Ignited, the talk show powered by Yacket, and I want to thank Yacket for the privilege of using this amazing technology, even though tonight they're not Yacket problems, they are individual computer problems, and the three of us seem to be having some difficulty. So if you'll just bear with us. We will just plow through, because I'm very excited about my guest this evening. So my name is Dr. Christine Ranck, and I am a trauma therapist in New York City, and I am co-author of Ignite the Genius Within. And I am excited to be here with Fabienne Meuleman because it's a very personal reason, which is that she introduced me to some things that really have had a tremendous influence on my life in terms of my health and my well-being and the way I eat, and so I really wanted to have her on so that I could introduce you to her, because she's had a profound impact on me. So I want to, just so I don't leave anything out, I'm going to read a little bit about your bio, and we may have another guest, but she also is having computer issues this evening, so that may not happen. And if she shows up suddenly, that will be delightful. So Fabienne, my friend Fabienne, her passion is to make the world a better and healthier place, and I have to say she does a great job of that. She is a certified professional coach, and with her organic and holistic mind-body-spirit approach, she assists her clients, like me, in creating the life they desire and deserve. One of Fabienne's missions is to educate about wellness and nutrition, which brought her to a very long affiliation with Juice Plus products. And this evening is not a commercial for Juice Plus, but I want to say that as a result of hearing about a lot of things, including Juice Plus, I ended up taking these vitamin supplements, and I have to say that I have never felt better. So we'll talk a little bit about that if you're willing, Fabienne. But there are many other things to talk about also. So Fabienne is also a senior leader in terms of assisting Tony Robbins and his trainers at all kinds of events, and so she's a Tony Robbins person, which I would really so welcome. Okay, so it's not letting me let you talk.
Oh, I think you were just about to say it's not allowing you to switch speakers, and here we are. It is working. So thanks, Christine. Thanks for the introduction, and it's been really my pleasure also to get to know you. The way we actually connected, I guess people don't know that on the line, but we are both members of the Society of Enlightened Entrepreneurs, and so that's how we originally connected. I got to experience also Christine's work and her book and CD, so that's been a pleasure too. And so yes, and I shared a little snippet before, but I don't know who was online. So yeah, I was mentioning, as you said, I'm part of the Tony Robbins Senior Leadership Group, and that's been for the last couple of years, and that's one way that I know Loren, who hopefully will join us soon. And then the other way that I know her is, as you mentioned, I work with her in the health and nutrition area with the Juice Plus. And as I was saying before, and I don't know if anybody heard it or not, but I was also saying as a coach, and you specify that about the body, mind, and spirit, I also like to work with the people with the whole areas of life, and health being one part of it, relationship being a part, wealth. And so it's really also very interesting for me to see how we are fractals and, you know, this holographic universe that a lot of people talk about. And so by zooming into the health area, I think what's really interesting is that health is touching also all the other areas, because when your health is really functioning, then you have much more vitality, much more peace of mind, much more time and resources to take care of everything else and really fully live your purpose. So I know when the event that you were referring to, Christine, that you came and had a lot of impact was a lot of practical tips, and things that everybody can do to improve their health. And I know we are focusing on the summer coming up and all of that. So hopefully, Loren is still making her way. She is, in a way, of course, I share about those simple tips as well, but she is really the expert in a way that she is really like certified in all of that. For me, health and nutrition has been something that has really interested me as part of this whole picture, and then helping people specifically with little things that they can do. And I don't know if you want me to go into that or if you want to wait for her, so give me a little clue where you want me to take this.
That's definitely. I would love to hear again some of the many tips that I got from that lecture that was really helpful to me and really inspired me in a way that nothing else had. And it's not that I hadn't heard some of what you were talking about, what you and Loren were talking about in terms of nutrition and the way we eat and so on. It wasn't exactly that. I had heard it, but there was something about the way it was presented and the timing, of course, in my life that made it so important for me to hear it at that point. That it really inspired me at that point. And of course that is a big issue. Timing is everything. We have to be sort of like when we're ready, the teacher appears. It's something we all hear. Certainly, the teacher definitely appeared for me that evening because I was looking for something to help me feel better and to help me lose weight and to be in better shape, and I got all of it in that evening. So if you want to share any of the tips that occur to you that I might have heard that night, I would be delighted. So go right ahead.
Okay, so I will take the hat of the non-expert because I still hope she will join us. But some of the things, and I think it would be great for the listeners to hear specifically about what made the difference for you, because as you say, there is so much information. So it's not a lack of information people have. It's just like the right timing and also the right motivation. And so one of the things, that I think most people, at least I didn't know until I guess a few years ago, which is so simple, but it's really the importance of hydration and drinking enough. And so, even here, like tonight now, I'm like, always prepare with water and all of that. But that's really like one of the most simple things that most people don't realize. Like if they have a headache or start to not feel well, that most likely that's just a sign of dehydration. And, a lot of people think that when they feel thirsty, that's when they are dehydrated, but that's already way behind the time that they are already fully dehydrated by then. So that's definitely one thing. Of course, we're also talking, and we talked about that night, it's about the importance of fruits and vegetables in the diet. It's not for nothing that the recommendation of the USDA and all the official recommendations keep increasing. So it's because we are really faced with a tremendous amount of what we call like the free radicals, which are really like all the impact of pollution and stress and exercise and all of that. So we have this conflict because we live in New York. We know we want to exercise, and we do, but if we don't have a protection for all the cells, that's how those free radicals are attacking the cells, which then creates oxidative stress, which contributes to aging, disease, all of that. So really keeping an environment that's fully alkaline in the body is really important. So the opposite of an acidic environment is alkaline environment, and that's what we get from a lot of fruits and vegetables. And of course, that's where also the Juice Plus fit in the picture as a catalyst and an easy way for that. And I know you say, it's not like we want to make it a commercial about that, and yet it really has helped many people through that. So as I think about that, I know your favorite topic, I think we should still leave for when Loren comes in, if she does. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I'll leave that out for now. Let's see if she joins in. She'll be right in with a very hot topic. Of course, little things about exercise, like I know Loren has like a rebounder, things like that. So I still hope she is going to join. So I would like just to leave that on the side for now for a few minutes and just focus on, as we talk about summer and getting ready for summer, that there is a tendency also to think about what society thinks or the beliefs or the media is about, it needs to be this perfect body and all that, which of course, is something that is relevant. But I think, and actually I was just going through, this is Loren's book, by the way, we're still planning to do a raffle with it, but I was just skimming through again yesterday, and one thing she said that I totally agree with is that it's important that we don't let define the outside, the media and all of that dictate what's really important to us. So I would like to invite and welcome all the guests on the call today to really think about what is important for them in their life, and health and weight loss and all that might really be an area that they want to focus on. And again, we can get more in detail, but there is a lot of information available. But it's also what else from that part of the body, mind, and spirit, or the other areas of life, what else can we do to make that a change? And, a lot of little things, or not so little, but really have an impact directly on health. So it can be also one of the concepts that I found really important. I don't remember if we talked about it that night, but it's the idea of the compound effect, and that the little things that we do every day really make a difference. But these are the things that are easy to do or easy not to do. For instance, eating something that's not healthy for you, or drinking something that's not healthy for you, or lacking to exercise, or not doing meditation, like all those things that are easy not to do. On the other hand, if we do them every day consistently, that's really building a foundation that then you get exponential results. And I think that's what you have experienced, because you told me, you had a catalyst through Juice Plus, you had more energy, you felt great, and had the follow-up, and then you took the actions. You went to get a trainer, and, you really took the actions. So I think it's really that idea of the spiral, that can be a spiraling up by all those actions that we can do, and drinking more water, eating well, sleeping well, meditating, all of that is important. But a lot of people know what to do. It's just that they don't have necessarily the motivation to really put it into their calendar and then do it. So maybe you want to share a bit about what was that shift for you?
Well, the first thing I think, I think for whatever reason, it's hard to say exactly why, but I was very motivated at that time to hear the message. And there wasn't any particular reason. Certainly, my health is pretty good, and so on. But I just thought I could do better. Really, is what it was. And in January 1st, everybody has the usual, oh my God, New Year's resolutions and thinking about summer coming and so on. So even though summer is here now, in January it feels like you still have time, So so I was just curious, and I was very impressed with you. So I was interested in what Loren might have to say that evening. So I think before I go any further, I want to say that thing about dehydration was one of the points that really grabbed me, because a number of years ago, I went to Borneo, to the jungles of Borneo, which is an island in Indonesia, where pretty much the only place where orangutans live. And I was working in the jungle with orangutans for a while, and we had to drink water all the time, or we would get very dehydrated because it was in the rainforest. And the water had to be boiled. There was no electricity in this camp, so the water had to be boiled over a fire, and it really didn't taste very good. So I was not drinking enough water. And one day I got so sick. I got a headache like I've never experienced before. And it was at that point that I understood what happens when you don't drink enough. It was just, oh, my whole head was sore. It's indescribable. But water is, crucial. And I know that I still don't drink as much as I should. It's not something that comes naturally to me. I don't particularly like to drink a lot. But anyway, that was one thing that grabbed me. And the other thing that really grabbed me, and again, it's not that I hadn't heard it before, but it was just spelled out so beautifully to me, was the idea of small meals and eating all the time. So that the way Loren described it was grazing, just constant grazing all day. And she went into the specifics of what to eat. What kinds of things to eat? For example, steamed vegetables with hummus, or as one of these small meals, and to not to skip breakfast. So a habit of mine over time was to skip breakfast and then only have lunch and dinner and a late dinner and so on, as opposed to eating all the time. Eat all the time, and when you eat all the time, it becomes so easy to, you're never hungry. And so that was one of the things, eat all the time. And then, of course, it's crucial what you eat. So vegetables and hummus, and then some almonds. That was a revolution to me, that I could eat nuts as one of the things, because I've always thought of nuts as fattening and kind of not such a great thing to eat. And then, small meals throughout the day. So I started eating 5 or 6 times during the day, and that was a year and a half ago, and I can't go back to, first of all, I get too hungry. I can't go back to that other way of eating. And now things like white bread and donuts and the things that they feel like poison to me. It hurts me to eat them. A bagel, things like that. I've learned by trying different things, by trying whole grains and things like that. I've learned to actually love them. It shocked me. I never thought I would be able to love that kind of food, because the other stuff is so good. But yes, it's good, but it's poison. And there's something about making that shift, that once you let yourself try it and you see the results, the way I felt so much better, and over about 4 months, I would say, I lost close to 20 pounds, and it was pretty effortless. And it was healthy. It wasn't starving myself, and it wasn't, I didn't feel deprived. I mean, I was careful about not eating sweets and not eating white bread and the stuff that we, more or less know is bad for us. But so my discipline was pretty good, but the rest of it was effortless, and that shocked me. That really shocked me. So those were, I guess, 2 or 3 of the elements that made a big difference. And then I did, as you say, once you get going, then you see results, you start to get more motivated. So even though I have always gone to the gym, for many years I've gone to the gym 2 or 3 times a week, but I decided to try getting a trainer. I never would have thought you could. I wouldn't have believed you if you'd said 5 years ago that I would have a trainer. And I only trained with someone for 5 or 6 months, and then I stopped. But I learned everything from him. And what a trainer does is it gets you out of your routine, so that your body is responding to different exercises, and also they push you, so they get you, they get your cardio up, and they get you out of breath, and just pushing yourself a little bit in a way that you probably wouldn't do on your own. So those elements, all of that we discussed in this lecture with you and Loren, and as I tried each thing, the next thing came very much more naturally. It just all worked for me. So, in answer to your question, that's it. So now I'm going to give the camera back to you. Well, you take the camera, because I can't give it to you.
Seems like you have. Great, yeah. Thanks, and congratulations on all those results. It's amazing. So as I was hearing you, I also continue to think of some of the, message. Okay, Loren is still working on it. So hopefully she'll still join us. So when you were talking about the, eating the small quantities along the day, which is called grazing, like one of the things, I don't know if there are people who are watching and who have kids, but one of the things also that's great for kids is to just like have maybe one of those little cookie, platter, and then just put in those area some carrots and almonds and broccoli, that. And actually adults love that too. I don't necessarily have that platter, but I like to do that. And so you're right, it just becomes a habit, and it is the combination of all those phytonutrients and nutrients from all those, you talk about almonds and the fruits and vegetables, all of that, it's like what people typically don't realize is how much there is. I was totally shocked, and I don't know if you remember that, if we talk about it that night, but I had no clue until a few years ago that every fruit and every vegetable have more than 10,000 nutrients. So, if you have a vitamin or even a multivitamin, you might have like 30-something. But if you have thousands and thousands from fruits and vegetables, that's really what makes a difference.
Hopefully you've heard some of our conversation, and there are some special parts that we have definitely left for you to talk about, but if there's anything you want to comment on in terms of what we've talked about so far, we'd be delighted. So I'm going to turn it over to you. And thank you.
It went purple, so I knew that was time for me to talk. So, well, I got to hear just a little bit of Fabienne, but first of all, Christine, I just want to thank you. This is so cool. I love this. It's awesome. I'm very, very excited. And like you said, all I really needed was a little tune-up with my computer, so that's what happened. So I rushed home to get you a new computer. I'm sitting in my son's room, so hence the decor behind us. But anyway, yeah, I didn't really get to hear a little bit. I didn't get to hear. I just got the very tip of what Fabienne was sharing with regards to nutrition. And I myself, I'm a nutritional therapist. I've had the honor of working for Tony for, this is my 23rd year. I started when I was 2, we say. But, no, I'll be 47 just in a couple months. And it has been really extraordinary to get to teach these life mastery programs and have people go through, a week-long cleanse. And we say when you get your body out of the way, your spirit can start to move through you again. And some people don't even know what it's like to feel great. A lot of people have never really ever felt great in their lives. They just think some things are, as I get older, these are the symptoms of getting older. And like Fabienne was sharing what I heard, who even realizes how many thousands of phytonutrients are in food. And like when they say to eat an apple a day, they mean eat those thousands and thousands of phytonutrients. And my dad was an optometrist for 52 years, and he would always, we'd take this to the salad bar in North Carolina, and he'd say, eat as many colors as you could. And, little did he know what he was really trying to say was eat as many phytonutrients as you can to make sure that all your organs in your body know what to do. And, your body's smarter than we think it is. And I say, give your body what it wants versus what you want. And, and we're talking about, these tune-ups. And it really is, it's just a couple little tweaks. I'm not an extremist about things. I like to enjoy life as well. But my body starts to crave different things now that it's more in tune with itself. Same thing with my daughter. We were just with my kids, and my son, we were dropping him off to go to Europe. He's going for his 16th birthday with 30 of his friends for their class trip. And, literally, we were just leaving, and he ordered a double plate of broccoli and a huge salad, and a little bit of protein. And I looked over, I'm like, man, that is really cool. And then they brought out the little sundae for his birthday, and he took a bite, and that was it. And to see that he ate a whole huge plate of fruits and vegetables, and my daughter was eating my salad, makes you really proud as a parent. And I think that what we have to do is just make those little tweaks, that you don't have to change your whole life. And that's what my advice would be for people, is to just kind of look at those little tweaks that you need to make. And it's really the foundational of health. The first is hydration. I'm sure that, Fabienne, you can nod your head if you talked about this. But really hydration. and that most of our body is water. And even, 25% of our bones are water. And so that's why, sometimes you don't need more calcium, you need more water. And just how important water is. And people go, well, do I drink this kind of water or that kind of water? First of all, drink more water. Most people don't drink enough. So, hydration. Is that you? You need to drink more water? Is that you raising your hand? I need to drink more water. So, and the great...
I didn't mean to interrupt, but yes, I always need to drink more water. So go back to Loren.
Fine, this way, okay. And lots of ways to make it fun. To make it fun that you drink more water. I get my kids really fun water bottles, so they want to drink it, right? I went out today and bought myself a fun water bottle that matches now my phone case, and it says, keep calm and carry on, right, in honor of the Queen. But now I got a water bottle that says keep calm and carry on. So it's making it an experience. I'm like the water fairy at my house. Before my kids go to sleep, I make sure to put waters beside each of their beds, and so that they make sure the first thing that they have when they wake up is a glass of water. And that's easy to do for the summer, right? And just take it everywhere that you go. You'll feel so much better as well. I live here in Las Vegas. You can't drink enough water. And that we talk about when you're thirsty, then you're really, really dehydrated. The other thing I think that we don't give enough credit to, and I have a kind of a soft spot in my heart for this, and that's essential fatty acids. Essential fatty acids are so important because your body can't make essential fatty acids. The only way that you get essential fatty acids is actually from the food that you eat. And every organ in our body has a certain signature food, if you would, for itself. So if you think of the brain, I'm going to go back to you, Christine, in a minute, and we're going to play a little game. And the brain looks like a what? What food does the brain look like?
What food does the brain look like?
So, good. This is arrow to me. The brain actually looks like a walnut. And if you think of that, walnuts, the nuts, those are those omega-3s, right? They were really rich in omega-3s. The nuts that you hear about, avocado. And the brain is made up of water and good fats. That's why it's so important. Let's just have a handful of walnuts every day for your brain. Think about, what does the heart look like? The heart looks like a tomato. So tomato is the phytonutrient, is the signature food for the heart. You think about the liver. What does the liver look like? It looks like a beet, right? Like a big old beet. So that's the signature food. The big thing that you hear a lot about recently, we were just talking about this, is kale, how important kale is. And, you look at the big cancers, unfortunately, that are out there, and, you look at, like, lymphoma and leukemia, the blood. Kale is the signature food for the blood. But essential fatty acids are important because your body can't make them. You can only get it from the food that you eat. There's, some people have controversy about, well, do you do the oil? Some people are no oil people. Obviously the best way you want to get it is from the food that you eat in a whole food, like flax seeds or almonds. And some people prefer to do the oils. We get a lot of 6s and 9s in our diet, but the big one, as a nutritional therapist, that I see people most deficient in is the 3. So you want to start with like flax and nuts and things like that. Easy to do. The way that I do it is we take a muffin tray, and we learned this from Dr. Sears, who's known as America's pediatrician, and you take a muffin tray, and in each little muffin slot, you might put some nuts in one, you might put some seeds in another, you might put some veggies in another, you might put some berries, and then you graze, right? You graze on food all day long, and it's fun. Like, it's fun to eat. My kids make their own little grazing tray, and they eat food because it's fun, right? And I get to create my own. Like, my grazing tray is different than my daughter's or different than my son's, and as the summer comes along, they just pick that out and take it down to the pool, and they've got a fun little snack for them. So essential fatty acids are the big, big one. Is when you have children, your body gets depleted of those essential fatty acids because the baby pulls what it needs and leaves you with nothing. So it's very important to get those essential fatty acids. The other thing is sugar handling. This is another huge, huge challenge. obviously, if you were a caveman, right, the caveman, he would go out for the hunt, and his wife would pack him a little bag with a little dried T-Rex in it and some berries and some nuts, and he'd go out and he'd start walking, and as he was walking, he'd get a little hungry, and so he'd reach in the bag, grab some nuts, feel kind of good, grab a little dried T-Rex, eat that, and then he'd be walking down, and then he might see a tree with, an orange, and he gets hungry, and he just pulls that orange off the tree and eats the orange and keeps walking as he's going on the hunt. So he keeps his blood sugar nice and stable, like this, right? How's that? That's nice on the wave. But what happens now, right? What happens nowadays is people, they go and they wake up and their phone's ringing and they got to check their email and their kids are late for school and they rush out of the house and they got to get something to eat. So where do they go? They usually go somewhere like maybe a coffee house, right? And they grab what? A coffee and a scone. And what happens to their sugar levels? Their sugar levels go zoop, and they skyrocket, right? And they're feeling good for like 30 minutes. And then what starts to happen after about 30 minutes, they start to crash, right? And they're crashing. A couple hours go by, they go, oh my God, I'm hungry again. So then they might grab a piece of pizza or a soda, right? And what happens? Sugar levels go zoom, go skyrocket back up, and they start having these peaks like this, up and down, up and down, up and down. Then they don't eat for hours. They get stuck in a meeting. They get stuck doing something. They crash. They finally grab something to eat, like a Snickers bar, and then skyrockets right back up. So then they're heading home for traffic, and they hit traffic, and their sugar levels are way down here, and they're hungry, and they're irritated, and someone's called to complain about something that happened, and somebody cuts them off in traffic, right? What do they start to produce? Adrenaline, right? Boom. They start to produce this adrenaline. And then they get mad about, all these different things. They start producing adrenaline. Their cortisol levels go crazy. And cortisol produces more, belly fat in that area. Think about the caveman. He's out of, this is a big thing. And people understand that, it might feel good for the moment to do these things, but really, what's it going to look like? To take yourself into a Dickens pattern with 5-10 years down the line with you creating these eating habits. Or, you look now, Fabienne and I have had the honor of meeting an amazing man named Dr. Tolzer. And Dr. Tolzer was the first doctor to operate on the baby's heart in utero. Remember that? He's from Austria. And I went and we saw him last October, and I was sitting at a table with him, and I said, Dr. Tolzer, is it true? I said, is the statistic true that we've been hearing about? He goes, what statistic that you heard about? I said, the group of people that are going into cardiac arrest, the largest group going into cardiac arrest. And this, to me, is why we have to make these shifts. Not just get ready for summer for ourselves and tune up for ourselves, but for every person that we know. And that is the fastest group right now, going into cardiac arrest, flatline, done, out of here, 16 to 18-year-olds. So that is lifestyle. That is lifestyle related. And we have to help people make those shifts about their lifestyle. And that's why, get ready to really tune up your life. I know that this is awesome what you're doing. I think you are an extraordinary woman. I mean, you deal with trauma all the time with people. And, but we've got to really look at how people look at their lives and how the choices that they're making are really affecting them long term. And the two last things I'll share with you are, sugar handling is a big one. Digestion, most people don't chew their food. You've heard the official term is called masticate. So you do want to masticate. You want to chew your food because undigested food sits in your stomach and literally it rots. And we need hydrochloric acid, to break down that food. We need to break it down. Well, the more people that I test for their hydrochloric acid, you're seeing younger and younger people aren't producing as much hydrochloric acid. And what causes you to produce less hydrochloric acid is not chewing your food, stress. I'm going to say stress. You know this as a therapist of stress really being the number one killer out there for people. And the other thing that I'll share, obviously, with you guys is how important elimination is. Poop. We love to talk about poop. But, they say that for every for every, your colon's about 5 to 6 feet long, but for every foot of your colon, you can store up to 5 pounds of waste. 5 pounds of waste for a foot of your colon. And it's pretty, and you see a lot of kids that don't release, up to a month at a time. I mean, we have a real responsibility right here, and you sharing this information and wanting to share this information about how important health is the only thing that's going to change things for people. So I think we've got to tune in, and we've got to really wake up, and we've got to stay awake. We've got to stay awake to what's going on with ourselves, really care for people and help get this information as much as possible out to them. And I'm just blessed. I'm blessed to be on this, fun show with you finally. You should have seen me rushing through traffic. But I was breathing through it, saying that we were going to get there. And, and then just think about, how are you going to make this the best day of your life? And those choices happen. They start with your state of mind, obviously, and the thoughts that you put in about who you are, what you stand for, how grateful you are, the food that you eat, blessing your food, being grateful for all the choices that we have available to us. I mean, look at all the people around the world who don't have the choices that we do. And giving your body what it wants versus what you want is the big thing that I would share with everybody. So I hope this helps. I think we're right at the time. So back to you. I'm still purple.
I just wanted to tell you that the other thing that I so appreciated about your talk was the talk about poop. And of course, nobody ever talks about it, and nobody ever compares their experience with other people's experiences. Just like you just don't really want to talk about it. However, you made it fun and interesting, and I learned so much from it. So if you feel comfortable talking about it, then some more. I think it's very helpful. I think to hear about it, and as a result, I really began to think about it in a very different way. So I'm going to pass it back to you.
I love to talk about poop, and I think I love to talk about it really for a couple reasons. One, my grandmother died of colon cancer, and I was there when my grandmother died. I didn't know I'd be talking about poop. However many years later, I was 18 years old, and I was in the room when she died. And I don't know if anybody's ever been in the room with someone passes, but it was very profound to me because a lot was emotional. Your colon is your emotional center. And, my grandmother was an immigrant from Hungary, and she never felt like she fit in, so she stuffed a lot. She stuffed. She was stressed all the time. She was a meat and potatoes kind of diet. She didn't really have any greens in her diet. And so I think that I never thought that it would turn into such a big thing for me. And when we went and we started really teaching life mastery, my friend Maria Elena, she's a colon hydrotherapist that we had in when we lived in Portland, she came over there, and it was really interesting because there was a lady that they were going to bring on as a speaker, and she kind of made fun of the whole thing about the colon. And Maria Elena, looked at Tony and everybody and goes, "Look, this is really serious." She goes, "I take my job really seriously because people need to understand how important this is." She goes, "We need to talk about poop." And you look at the food that we eat these days, it's not food. Most people aren't even eating food, I wish I could go downstairs right now and show you in my cabinet, beside the dog food. I've had a McDonald's hamburger and French fries in there for 7 years. 7 years. The French fries are still, there's no mold, there's no anything. They look like just dried up French fries. They kept the same shape. The ketchup is still red. The pickle's still green. The bun is still solid. Everything's the same. All the preservatives and everything that is happening with the so-called food is not food. Or like a piece of pizza that we've had, I think, for 4 years. The ants won't even touch it. So, my kids, as leverage for them, they have no desire to have that. And, it's kind of fun. That's what makes it fun, because you go, what is, Fabienne's got one too, it looks like. Yeah, they're her French fries. How old are those, Polly? And let's see, she's got her Big Mac. Nice. Beautiful. How many months is it? 4, 5? So I'm sure, just put your hand up, Fabienne, of how old it is. How old is that? A year old? 2 years old? 2 years old. 2 years old. So that's 2 years old. And you think about, what's going in your body. I mean, if that's just sitting there, literally. So anyway, we just have to be really smart about the choices. So with regards to poop, I'm 5'2", so your colon is as long as me, or it could be up to 6 feet long. Now, your colon, you have your, let me see if I can show you. Let me see if you can see. So you have your ascending colon, right? You have your transverse colon, and you have your descending colon. Now, the thing that's happening now is most people, the flaps go over actually even to the side. The colon, kind of flips over even to the side right here. So you got, poop literally, right here on the sides. A lot of people don't realize that the colon kind of is flaps out a little bit as it expands out, because the colon is a muscle. And a muscle can either what? Expand or contract. So it can get bigger or it can get smaller. Now, the colon, it's about 2.5 inches in diameter, the size of your fist, right? It's about 2.5 inches in diameter. And you have your, you have your small intestine, which is about 26 feet, right? And then you have the colon, and then there's the ileocecal valve, which is a valve that opens and closes to connect the small intestine to the large intestine. So when people go, well, I poop every day. Well, lots of times people are just pulling the plug, right? They're just pulling the plug. They're doing that last bit. It's just pulled in. But the other thing that we were talking about yesterday was that even though you're pooping, you've got all that back here, that's even maybe even on the sides, like I said, right here. And so you have to make sure that you're eliminating your transit time. What you want your transit time to be, about 12 hours. So what you have for dinner should be coming out, the next morning before you have breakfast and everything else. So you want your transit time to be really important. And that's why stress has affected people's transit times. The other thing is that we push away the urge, to go to the bathroom. When you push that urge away, guys don't have a problem with it. They can sit there forever. The other thing, though, about sitting on the toilet is it's not so great for you, how you're not getting the leverage of how you need to do so. A great thing to do is to get a stool. You like what I'm talking about? Get a stool so your legs are kind of up like that when you go to the bathroom. I've got to have fun. Come on. What are you going to do? So you want to get a stool so you get some leverage, right? That's why with little kids, when their legs are kind of dangling, they don't have any leverage for them to actually be able to poop effectively, right? So they can't get it all out. So get a box for them, something that I have a little stool over there that helps you get some leverage to eliminate, because it goes down. What happens? The rectum goes down, right? It needs to go down. I would show you that, but we're not going to do that right now. Your poop should be honey-colored, right? You want it to be honey-colored. If it's black, it's been in there a long time. So you want to make sure that it's honey-colored and that it floats, right? Honey-colored, let's see. I don't know if you can see my honey-colored. Honey-colored, kind of like that. Can you see that? Honey-colored? I didn't bring a sample of anything else. So you want it to be honey-colored. You don't want it to be dark. The other thing is people think, well, I'm having fiber. You want to not just, you need both fibers. You need soluble fiber and insoluble fiber in order for you to really eliminate the way that you need to. Lots of times people go, when their child gets a temperature, the first thing I always ask people is when was the last time that your kid pooped, right? And lots of times when you have them give them an enema, it brings that fever down, and then they eliminate. So you're just plugged up. You have 4 areas of elimination, right? You have your lungs, you have your kidneys, right? You have your colon, and then you have your skin, which is the largest area of elimination as well. That's the largest organ, is your skin. So if it starts to show up on your skin, I usually try to find out where they're plugged up somewhere else. You know, where they're not eliminating from. So elimination, yeah, it's cool. We always talk about it. My daughter always comes in, I made a big one, come check it out. You know, but you want your poop to be about, every time you eliminate, you want it to be about 12 to 18 inches. That's how long you want it to be. Anna, you ready for this? Gosh, you're going to like, what are you going to say to me after this? You want it to slide out. You know, you want it to not have to wipe when at the end, right? You want it to be a nice little S, kind of like, and it just kind of like comes out. Is what you wanted to hear? Are you happy now? So, right? And it just kind of like that you don't, because what does that mean? It's just kind of, everything's just kind of, look, think of the dog, right? I mean, look how dogs, how they just, when a dog, if you watch your dog poop, you can't tell me you haven't watched your dog poop, right? And when they're constipated, what happens? That everything just kind of gets stuck at the van. When a dog has a nice, when their transit time's good, you see it just kind of like, what's up? Dogs don't wipe, right? No dog that I know wipes. So it just kind of slides out, and it's got this nice little S at the very end. Same thing with us. Just wanted to slide out. So you want to hydrate. You know, the colon gets really dehydrated often, and you want to make sure to hydrate with regards to it. So that's kind of like a little bit about poop. Yay. We love to talk poop. The other thing is that, you know, let me just share one other thing, you know. The thing that I'll share is you don't realize how much, you know, parasites there are and the other things that, you know, that cause challenges in our body. So we have to be aware. I don't want to, you know, I'm not, like I said, I'm not like a, fanatic about certain things. I live my life. Yes, you'll see me do something that people go, oh my God, is she really, you know, having that? Yes, I'm from the South. I love sweet tea, but I'll have a sweet tea, and instead of drinking the whole thing, I might have, you know, just a couple sips, and that's enough for me. But I enjoy my life as well. But I look at it and I go, hey, how am I doing 95% of the time? And I make sure I have a really strong foundation with lots of fruits and vegetables. I love to juice. You know, I take, you know, whole foods, supplements, and I also make sure that I take, you know, a lot of whole foods and get that variety of fruits and vegetables. But the other thing I think about, you know, hopefully a lot of people are tuning into this because you never know who you can help. You know, I know that everything that I've learned really did help my dad. My dad was misdiagnosed with Parkinson's, and over 600,000 people a year are misdiagnosed with Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. So it's our responsibility to really, you know, educate people. And the other thing that I say, you know, we want to add more years to our life, but what we really want to do is we want to add more life to our years. And I think you doing this show helps people realize that, you know, there are ways to add more life to our years. And whether it be through food, through our state of mind, whatever that it is, just make sure you go out there and see who you can help. So thank you for having us. You're so pretty, too.
Oh, thank you. So I have a few thoughts about poop, and see, the first is probably, I'm guessing 10 years ago, there was a Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman movie where it has to be the first movie where an actress actually sat on the toilet, and it happened to be Nicole Kidman sitting on the toilet with Tom Cruise talking to her in the bathroom, and I thought to myself, no one wants to see that, number one, and number two, those two aren't going to make it. And so perhaps that was the beginning of the end. I don't know. So that was one thought. And then I wanted to tell you a famous therapy story about poop, which is a couple, this is not my clients, but it's a very famous story that is used a lot for training for people, families, and a couple came into therapy with two children, a boy and a girl, and the little boy couldn't poop. He wouldn't poop. And he hadn't pooped for 2 weeks, and he was really in a lot of pain, and it was kind of a chronic thing. And so the therapist was questioning them about what was going on in the family, and, you know, all of the medical stuff, and all of the patterns in the family. And it turns out that the two children had separate rooms. The little girl was, I think, 3 or 4, and the boy was like 6. And the boy had lots of toys in his room, and the little girl was allowed to go in and play with his toys, and the boy was not allowed to close his door ever. He was not allowed to close his bedroom door, and so the little girl would come in and play with his toys and then take them. And so as soon as, hello, there's the little girl. And so so one of the family therapy things that was advised was let your son close his door so the little girl can't get in. As soon as they began to let him close his door, he started to poop. And the reason is that children hold on to what they can. They hold on to whatever they can, and there aren't too many things they can control, but they can control what they take in, and they can control what they let out. And so poop is a very, very important piece for all of us. And so I see you want to speak, so by all means, go ahead, over there.
Amazing that you just shared that story, because my friend Maria Elena, the biggest number of clients that she had were young children. And she had a little boy who hadn't pooped up to a month. And it's an actual condition. And it's when parents try to control too much. And that there's too much, there's too much control there, and that the kids don't have control. So you are spot on. Literally, that's what she said, what it was. And he literally eliminated so much, that she couldn't even get it through, with regards to it. But the other thing that's really scary is, and to each their own, but just know the consequences with regards to, health about it. You see so many kids now being diagnosed with, like, Crohn's. I mean, Crohn's, a huge part of Crohn's is emotional. I mean, you're seeing little kids at 5 years old that are being diagnosed with Crohn's. Or a friend of mine, she's a paramedic, and there's a school here, I won't mention the name of it, but it is freaking intense. First of all, they would kick me out of the school as a parent, because they'd be like, you're too crazy. But it says things like the pressure that they put on these kids is off the hook. And she says that they hear, when they go pick up, kids who have to be, picked up in the ambulance, that kids, they see more bleeding ulcers of fifth graders from this school than any other school, and kids who are being diagnosed with Crohn's disease from this particular school. Like double to triple what you would even see out there. So the stress, I mean, look at what's happening to kids these days. I mean, it is hard. I have a teen, a tween, and a toddler. And it's hard. There are so many things that are going on around them. People say, well, I'm not going to let my kid do that. These things are around them all the time. Even in the school system, the things that they're putting in. I mean, they're putting in computers. People that say that they don't want their kids to have computers, or people that say they don't want their kid on Facebook. Certain schools require you to have your kid on Facebook, or you to be on Facebook about it. So the other thing, just let your kids be kids a bit too. And so let them, like you say, control a little bit of their life so they feel like, I can be responsible. It's not making them less responsible, it's making them more responsible to participate in their own rescue as well. I mean, you put, the other thing I'd say is it's your responsibility as a parent or an elder to see what's in your house. I mean, everybody's required to wear a seatbelt, right? You're supposed to wear a helmet to protect your head when you go ride a bike or ride a motorcycle. Put a freaking, a lock on your cupboard, and what you put on, what you put as food in your body. I mean, we do it for our bodies when we drive a car and when we ride a bike, but what about when we put things in our body? My son, my 16-year-old, who just left for Europe a couple minutes ago, he lost his best friend at 9 years old, and it was because of dietary challenges. And there is nothing worse. He's a little Fijian boy. We brought him over here to the United States, and Loma Linda helped to make sure that he's taken care of, but it was too late. And his body was shutting down. His kidneys were shutting down. And there's nothing worse than having to tell your kid that their best friend died. I remember what happened. I remember my son grabbing my leg. And, my son wrote a book, and it was called Harpoot Manugi's Adventure to the Island of Wellness. And somebody picked up the book, and my son spoke at the Childhood Obesity Conference in Washington, D.C. And they said to my son, he was 11 at the time when he spoke, and they said, well, if you were to make a mandate, what would that mandate be? And my son said, I would have you guys label everything that's in food. And it goes, because you guys put these choices out in front of us, and we think they're healthy choices, because you're the adults, you know what's good for us. So you put these things out there, so we assume that they're good. We don't know that, 80% of this chocolate milk is sugar. We don't know what this fried food is doing to us. We don't know. We think that you know the answers, with regards to that. So it's our responsibility to educate people about how important food is. If you're not getting the garbage out, if you're not taking the garbage out, what's it doing? It's staying in your body, and that's causing toxins. It's leaking out and seeping out to your other organs. So it's our responsibility. And the other thing, my big thing, if I were to go to Congress about anything, is to, potty breaks. It's ridiculous. What you're doing is you're teaching your child to hold on instead of like when they have the urge to go to the bathroom. So we're teaching these kids, any school that have, that have potty breaks, if a child has to go to the bathroom, they have to hold it. So therefore, they're toxifying their body and they're creating a lazy colon, to 6-year-olds. And even us. So ladies, when you gotta go, go. When your kids say they gotta go, go. If your poop's not looking the way that you want to, make sure you look at your poop and figure out how to put more soluble and insoluble fibers. Eat more fruits and vegetables, drink more water, relax, do deep breathing exercises. Set your phone. I love the phone because everybody knows it's a joke at Robin. At an event, my alarm goes off at 9 a.m., so I'm at an event, my alarm goes off, and it says breathe. And so everybody goes, here goes, her alarm, it says to breathe, okay, everybody breathe. Or then at 12 o'clock it goes off, and it says, think of someone I love and send them, good vibes. And so it goes, okay, everybody, think of someone that you love and send them good vibes. Well, what's happened is it's become contagious for everybody, right? Everybody does it now. And, or maybe it's like, do something. Go eat an apple. Go eat some fruits and veggies. Go for a walk. Take 5 minutes. Take 5 minutes to do these little things, 5 to thrive. Do something just to fill yourself up so that you're looking, you're like, you know what, I'm really taking time for me. That you can't give what you don't have. And we want to give to everybody, but we can't give what we don't have. So set your alarm. Keep calm, carry on. That'll help you poop better, too.
Thank you for all of that, and I just want to tell everybody about your book, Life Tune-Up, which it's a wonderful book, so I encourage everybody to go and get Lori, there it is, yes. And the other thing this is a wonderful opportunity. I think it wouldn't be fair to not to share my experience with this product, even though I want to talk about it, but this is not a commercial for it. But I just want to tell you what my experience with it is. Fabienne and Loren both introduced me in the course of this wonderful lecture that I went to, and thanks to them making all of these changes in my life. And I got convinced and tried this product called Juice Plus, and it's vitamins and supplements, and maybe you can talk about it. But I have to say that I've never taken vitamins, and I was totally skeptical, and I just did it because I was in the mood to do good things for myself, and I was just going to try it. And also you had samples there of the chewies that I just thought were so good. And so we got to sample them, and I thought, I can, I might not want to take a pill, but I can sure eat those things. And as it turns out, I don't take those. I actually take the pills. But anyway, what I found was that I've never felt healthier, honestly, and I haven't been. As far as I know, I can't remember ever being sick. In 18 months, I have not had a cold. I've not had the flu. I've not had nothing. And I used to have kind of a down, like I started to slow down in the afternoon. It was really sometimes tough to get through the afternoon. It just felt sluggish and tough. that went away. So maybe, I'm sorry, Fabienne, I don't know, it would be worth it for you to try to talk again. I'm not sure if it's how it's going on your side, but if either of you feel comfortable.
Oh, sorry, I cut you. But we see it works. Yeah, in the meantime, I had lots of trouble with my sound, so thanks for the tips about closing everything. And I had talked a lot before, so I'm glad Loren and you had more time to talk now. So, yes, about the Juice Plus and the Chewies. So, one thing that I don't think you mentioned yet, so I just wanted to talk about it. I was trying to type the URL as you were talking. Is also that the Juice Plus, as you said, come in two forms, the capsules and the chewies. And the chewies are actually part of something we call the Children Health Study. And so every child from the age of 4 to 18, and actually even college students, can be sponsored for free for 3 years. So every time an adult becomes a customer of Juice Plus, they can also sponsor a child for 3 years, and as we said, it just goes to college students. So I think we have now more than 650,000 people benefiting from that study just in the U.S., but it's worldwide. So that's really like a really great support. And the website where people can find information is fabjuiceplus.com. So as I was tapping, I don't know if I missed something. So what else did you want me to say?
Can I talk? Hey, this is really fun. This is cool. I like this. Well, I think, I just wanted to share something about it. I think, we met in New York, right? Like upstairs we met in New York. And Fabienne brought me into the city to do a little talk on health. And the thing that I wanted to share was, I'm a nutritional therapist, and I have I'm too cool. I know everything about health. No one can tell me anything more about health. And my friend Jeff Roberti, who I've known for 23 years, he knew I thought that I knew everything about health. And even though my life was pretty good, my diet was really great, I still was not pooping enough. And I was not eliminating 2 to 3 times a day, and you want to eliminate 2 to 3 times a day. And I had asked somebody, there was a product that I was asking about, a new product that I was asking about with the company. And I said, well, what products can I take because I'm nursing? And the lady goes, you can't take any of these products. And I'm like, really? And I said, well, what products can I give my kids? And she goes, you can't give your kids any of these products. And Jeff overheard the conversation, and he goes, Loren, you know you can give your kids Juice Plus. So I'm like, oh, go away with your Juice Plus stuff. That's whatever. And he goes, Loren, and your kids are going to be able to be on the Children's Health Study for 3 years, and there's no contraindications, meaning you can take it from the womb to the tomb. If you're pregnant, all the way till, as long as you're above ground, you can take it. But what I didn't understand was it's not, there's macronutrients that are vitamins, but there's those micronutrients that Fabienne was talking about, these millions and millions, these hundreds of thousands of phytonutrients that we don't even know what they are. And the reason that pharmaceutical companies are so frustrated is they can't duplicate what's in food. You can't. You can pull out large, vitamins, but you can't pull out, these little teeny tiny little ones that turn certain genes on. And what's really cool is if you take like the phytonutrients, did you talk about this, Fabienne? You take the phytonutrients from broccoli and you can combine the phytonutrients with kale, the thousands of phytonutrients from broccoli know what the thousands of phytonutrients in kale are doing, so they work together. See, there could be like 50 great people all together, and we'd all be great people, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're going to work great together. Well, Dr. Smokey Santillo said, well, let's find out which phytonutrients and which vegetables actually work well together. So people could go, well, I eat this, this, and this. Well, that's great, but they might not all work together. And me too. I travel a lot. I just got off a plane from Seattle. I'm on with you guys. Normally I look a lot better, but because I haven't even brushed my hair, so I apologize. But the thing about it is the same thing with me. I've traveled at least 250 days a year. I have not been sick. If I feel like I've got something coming on, I'll what we say, double up. I'll take more. I'll take more Juice Plus. My blood work has never looked better. My kids have not had a sick day, and I have a tween, and a toddler. And my daughter's been on it since she was 2 months old. My daughter's never been on antibiotics, and, you know, my kids, once again, their diet sometimes isn't always great, and they haven't had a sick day. The only reason my son had my little one missed school was because of the allergies with the air here sometimes. But it's not because of anything else other than the air challenges that sometimes happen here with the wind. But, you know, there's nothing that good nutrition can't help. That's just the bottom line. Nothing. There's nothing that good nutrition can't help. You can't have too many fruits and vegetables. There's a reason that God created them. And your body craves the highest level of nutrition that you give it. So if you start giving it more of these fruits and veggies and, you know, in the vineyard blend, your body's going to start craving those things. I mean, I never used to eat a tomato. And, you know, now I eat a tomato. I mean, my friends that might be listening to this aren't going to believe it. You know, but I eat a tomato because now my body's craving those phytonutrients. A friend of mine, her daughter has a disease called spinal muscular atrophy. And most kids don't live past the age of 3. And I called my friend Nikki, and I said, Nikki, I have no idea, but it sure makes sense to me. And her daughter, you know, used to go to the hospital every other week not knowing if her daughter was going to live or die. And it's been 5 years. Her daughter's 8 years old. Her name's Aurora. And, you know, I'm just saying that it helped kind of like turn on those genes, those phytonutrients working together. So nothing that good nutrition can't help. It's an amazing, you know, amazing product that I believe is foundational, and you know, kids are going to get it. If you can help a kid, it doesn't have to be your kid. If you know, have a niece or nephew or neighbor that you'd like to put their children on the children's health study, you're able to do that as well. So I just thank you for letting us give, you know, everybody some tips that hopefully will make a couple little shifts in their life that can change their life.
So, yeah, we're going to have to wrap it up. I feel like I've made, as a result of the two of you and listening to you and you know, really taking it in and taking some actions in my life and doing what you've said and suggested, I've made changes that are permanent. I really believe that they're permanent. I won't ever be able to go back, and even if I do slip once in a while, which I haven't, but whatever that means, if I'm less than perfect, I now I have tools that I know work for me, and you know, Juice Plus really surprised me. So, and I have no investment in talking about this whatsoever. So I wanted to share that my experience with it, so that people at least know about it and can contact you if they're interested in pursuing that. And like they said, for kids, it's absolutely free to try these chewies if you take the capsules and work with Juice Plus yourself. So I want to thank both of you. I'm going to give you both a chance to say one last thing. If there's anything important that you still want to get in, this is the time to do it. So I'm going to turn it over, if you would, turn it over to both of them to say good night, and then I'll wrap it up.
Well, I'll take a minute, because I don't know if everybody could see also what I was writing. Again, as I talked enough before, I don't think I'll talk more now. But if people haven't seen the link that I sent for the raffle for the book, they can go to througheverything.com. That's TRU, everything.com, and then just click on the contact information, and then through that you can just click on the June 6th Tune-Up raffle. And that way, we thought it was a better way, then you don't have to display your private information publicly. And then the other website that I posted, the fabjuiceplus.com, and I'm happy to answer any questions, or Loren, about that, or any of the other things that we talked earlier before Loren got on. So thank you both so much. Thank you, Christine, for having us. Thanks, Loren, for going through everything you had to go through to be with us. And I'll leave it up to you for the last words.
This has been so much fun. We're going to do this again. I love this. This is very, very cool. So, just the one thing that I would say, is just live the life you've always desired. And just, really my whole thing is about staying true to yourself. And, you've so many opportunities that are out there. And I just thank Christine for putting together this forum to be able to communicate with all of you. And Fabienne, you're just awesome as well. So please get in touch with Fabienne. Any questions you have of ways that we can support you. I don't claim to be an expert. I just claim to be extremely passionate about everything that we do, whether it be helping someone make a shift in their lifestyle or shift in a belief that they might have. That, you know, enjoy your life. Our whole motto is YOLO, you only live once. So make it the best life ever, and always stay true to yourself. So thank you again.
Okay, so Loren, Slocum, and Fabienne Meuleman, thank you so much. It was really a fun and a pleasure, and I appreciate both of you making such efforts to be here under the circumstances. And I want to thank Yakit.com for this awesome opportunity. You know, we take it for granted that we can be all anywhere in the world and get together as if we're sitting in the same living room. So it's amazing. It's a great privilege for me to have, you know, access to this and a way to, you know, get some fun and cool information out. So thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this program, and I want to tell you to go out there and get ignited. Thank you and good night. See you both. Bye. Thanks.